Your lease is coming to an end soon and you're sick and tired of renting and you want to buy. In this episode, we're going to tell you exactly the process on getting pre-approved to buy your home.
Good morning and welcome to episode 4.
All right, so where do we start, right? Where does this person go, right? This person's like, oh, my lease is up and what do I do next? So first step is to talk to, the appropriate way should be talking to a lender.
Yeah.
But most people don't do that. They go straight to their realtor. Maybe they have realtor friends or whatever the case, but they always go to a realtor regardless. They're going to get you in touch with a lender to get pre-approved, okay? And
Either way the process, however you get there, one will recommend the other will recommend it's vice versa, so it doesn't really have to be like one specific way, but usually the first step is to get pre-qualified, and she's gonna tell you some things about that.
all right, so you're gonna call your lender up or meet them in person or however the case, right? And they're gonna ask you to bring some documents with you, okay, in order to fill out the loan application. So every mortgage process starts with a loan application. Basic information: name, date of birth, your work history, your address history, your income, and all that, right? If you're working with a good lender, they're gonna ask you for some documents just to verify this information is correct, right? Because not only that, like underwriters do things different. It's not just you make $20 an hour and that's it. No, depending on how they pay you is how we calculate your income, depending on what the underwriter will calculate your income.
Everybody's different.
It's different, right? So we're gonna ask you for a few documents, right? Those documents are depending whether you're W-2 or you're self-employed or 1099. If you're W-2, we're gonna ask you for last 2 tax returns, right? Or your W-2s. We're gonna ask you for like your last month or so of a statement of where you have the funds in. So it could be a checking, a savings, a 401k, a money market,
CDs,
stuff like that.
anywhere where your savings might be, and that we can use, because that's very important.
Yes.
And we just need 2 months of that, and that'll be fine. And then the pay stubs.
Pay stubs, and a picture ID.
Yes, most
Very
important.
important.
Yes.
So your pretty stuff can be in the application.
So then what we do is once we verify that information is correct according to the application, then we're gonna go ahead and run credit.
So here's where we get down and dirty. So depending on different applications, depending on different loans that you may qualify for, and that's for your lender to advise, right? There's 2 government loans. There's the FHA. Well, there's multiple government loans, but the ones,
commons.
the most common ones is the FHA or conventional, that are the regular residential loans. So for an FHA, your FICO can go down up to 580, and then for your conventional, you can at least have a 620. Now, it is recommended for you to have the more the merrier, how we say, but those are the minimum. And then we have others that are called the non-QM, that you may have anywhere between 640 to 680, depending on the bank and institution that we use, because we're brokers. We work with over 50 lenders. So, they all have different guidelines, and that's generally how it works. But yeah, FHA, which is usually the loan that mostly first-time home buyers use, is up to the minimum 580, and then conventional is 620.
Well, FHA does accept sometimes a lower score. I think as low as 550, but at that point they need to come in with like a 10% down.
Yeah, it is a little bit more difficult. Not a lot of people in those first-time home buying situations have that down payment. I mean, it's a lot in a 450 house. That means a lot of money. It's 10% out of that 450. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was actually running a scenario. It was actually for someone that wanted to buy in the 500s, and it was about 10%. I did 10% down. Their FICO was 552, and the down payment and all that came up to be like 65,000. Yeah, but I did get the approve eligible for doing the 10% FHA. Yeah, so you do get it, but it's, you know, it's a little more trickier.
It's,
you
yeah,
know?
definitely.
What I have noticed with conventional is that even with a good score, if you have anything negative in your history,
It might affect.
you probably won't get approved. If you have like any late payments, even if they're like 7 years old, that's the sad part. It's like that was a long time ago, but I've seen it not approve people for stuff on their credit that's old. So you definitely want to keep your credit in tip-top shape as best as you can, because obviously the better the score also is the better the interest rate.
And
Yes.
the mortgage,
The PMI,
the
mortgage
PMI, the mortgage
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah.
I had a client with a 640 credit, and the mortgage insurance was like $300 or something
Yep.
dollars. So that negative,
Yeah, like at that point you would have to like.
yeah, of course,
switch
that
it over.
negatively affects you against your income, making you qualify less. So you really have to take it by situations and scenarios, right? So you need to pick what's best for you and what's gonna qualify you the most or where you want to be. So I mean, that's really, it's really just a process.
Yeah.
But we have some do's and don'ts, which Miss Señorita over here
Yes.
is gonna tell you guys about. It's
So I have them written down, so bear with me.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
There's a lot of don'ts more
Yeah.
than do's, right? So I'm gonna talk to you about one of the biggest thing is do not deposit any large deposits, right? Large deposits, the only
Cash.
cash.
Cash,
How do you source it?
deposits.
Yeah.
It's really tough to source.
Where
that
did it
could have
come
been
from?
exactly. It could be very hard how to prove to the underwriter like, oh, this is for X reason why I got. It's hard for them to be like, yeah, okay, we can use that money.
This money came from under my couch,
Yes.
Yes.
under my pillow,
It's in the
the mattress.
mattress, you know.
in the
like-
mattress.
Yeah, just there's ways around that, but that is not what you want to do. You do not want to just deposit it right while you're under contract because it's going to create an issue. Another thing would be try not to max out your credit cards. Try not to overexpend, when it comes to your credit cards. Don't open lines of credits. I've seen it a lot where the people get a little excited. They're already under contract, but you know what? Let me go ahead and start buying rooms to go
Car.
furniture. Let me open up a line of credit with them. No, this is not the time to do that. We do not want anything else to come out of underwriting saying, hey, wait a second, there's an inquiry here. Why? This is more work, and what happens with more work is we're wasting time. We're trying to get you to clear to close a lot sooner than the 30-day contract. The sooner, the better, you know?
No, and it could potentially
Of
disqualify
course,
you.
because
you
they
know?
have to add the inquiry and
Yes, the DTI.
Not just the inquiry.
Yes.
If you
No.
went and you bought a couch and that couch is now $300 a month that you gotta pay, on your little payment plan.
you have to add it
Yes.
into
And
your income, and maybe your income might not be
tight.
able to withstand it.
Yeah,
the debt to income ratio.
yeah. There's also no late payments. This is a big one. People think, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and for example, I think there's clients that are in the middle of refinancing, right? So they know they're going to have a new mortgage, so they decide not to pay
The current month.
the current month.
That is
no,
the
no.
worst
Don't
thing.
keep everything as normal. Things will get resolved later on. Okay, when we get closer to closing, we'll see how we settle this. But for the meantime, no late payments, not even a mortgage payment. Don't close out any credit cards. Yeah, okay, you don't want any debt. You're doing great. You're paying off credit cards. Don't close it. You paid it off. It was good. It worked. Fine. Do not close it. That's one big thing.
Oh, hold on.
Is there a story to that one?
To add
What's
to
going on?
that, please, if you want to pay off something, if your lender is asking you to pay off something, there's a process. There's different ways to do it. The easiest and most efficient way
I know where
is
you're
to
going.
pay it at closing together with your closing costs, because if not, we have to start sourcing those payments
Funds
came
came
from. It's a whole ordeal that we can do it, but we prefer not to because, like Eileen said, we're trying to get you to the closing table as soon as possible.
Exactly. So this is just going to create more conditions, and you don't want that. This was a big one, and I know you guys know about this, but do not change your job. Try not to get fired.
Or like, listen,
You go.
There's some trauma over here. She's gonna
You go.
talk to your lender before you make any moves.
Yes.
Before you do
go.
anything, consult with your lender, okay? Because going from W-2, let's say you're a W-2 employee and you're like, oh, now's my time to be self-employed, and now you're 1099, well, you just shot yourself in the foot.
Yes.
Because once you become self-employed or 1099, you need 2 years history. So now you have to wait 2 years to buy your home.
Yeah.
So don't do any of that until you've spoken to your lender. Don't make any moves just to make sure
Yes.
that you don't disqualify yourself.
That's true.
But can you say your story in your last closing? The
Oh. No, it wasn't. That one wasn't a W-2 situation. That was the.
no, but the guy that changed jobs
That he had to get a new
Oh.
and he got like a new job at the end.
Yes, no, thank God that he had the job lined up.
Yeah.
So basically,
that could have been a.
we get the clear to close.
Oh my god. That's trauma, induced trauma.
So we get the clear to close, and obviously the bank wants to make sure you're still at your job. They want to make sure you can still pay your mortgage, right? So before you close, they always call your job just to confirm you still work there. So when they called this guy's job, he was let go of. He was fired.
Like a couple of days before they did the inquiry.
A couple days before they called, and the bank was like, we gotta pull that clear to close back. I'm sorry, ma'am. This guy was let go from his job. I called him and I was like, what happened? He's like, oh, they let me go, but I already am gonna start my new job and this and that. And thankfully he had like an employment letter and all that stuff, but it like
It's one of those things at that point, communicate.
Yeah, and
Communicate.
income that was able to.
yeah, and thank
Oh.
God the income was a little bit more, and so he's still qualified, but it just like pushed us back a week because now we had to gather that new information.
Listen, but that's the best of the scenarios.
yes.
That is the best of the scenarios.
Yeah, it
Can you
could've been
imagine you
bad.
get that clear to close? Oh my God. And the other person doesn't have any more jobs, any jobs lined up. That's it, you're done. Your months of work, it's done. You're not gonna get your house. So it's definitely
Use your earnest money deposit.
your
Your
earnest money
deposit, very
deposit.
important.
Listen, that's a trauma. I've
Yeah,
never
I
lost
can't.
one. I have never lost one. Thank God.
Knock on wood, that never happens. to
Knock
us.
on wood. But no, we don't have any wood around. Try to find
No,
it.
let's pretend.
No. But definitely, I mean, that is a terrible situation, and
Yeah.
thank God that he has his job
He
lined up.
already like was hired. He just hadn't started yet.
Yeah,
Thank
but he
God.
knew. He
He
knew.
knew.
He knew, and he
he
didn't tell
me
you.
anything.
So,
Shame on you.
that is a no.
But yeah, back to the don'ts. The last one I can say is try not to spend money, right? Like the goal here is, okay, I'm already under contract. I have my cushion that I've had there. Let me just keep adding to it. So that's kind of like a do. Just keep adding to your savings, because at the end of the day, we have to kind of connect all the information that we needed to see your savings, right? So all the money you're going to use to buy the house, we have to kind of how do I put it? Like at the end, we have to make sure you have enough for reserves. We have to make sure that you have enough for the closing. And at the end of the day, we don't want you to be left with $0 either, or short. We
Plus
don't
to
want
have
that.
plus to have like a little cushion there in case you want to do any like fixes to the house.
Exactly.
And remember, we estimate your closing costs, but maybe the title company has like a little bit of different fees, or it's a little bit over or under from what we disclosed. And what we can do at that point is estimate as close as possible, but there's always going to be a variance in your closing costs. It's not going to be like $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000.
It's an estimate for when
Exactly.
we first pre-approve. It's an estimate.
It's gonna be like a 90% estimate, but you still want to have that little cushion to have those reserves there in case there's a little bit more, a little bit less that you need.
Well, I've also seen situations where out of nowhere something just throws off their DTI, and now they have to put more of a down payment. So where do you get this down payment?
Yeah.
If you have the savings there, you go ahead and put a little bit more, and you still qualify for the house. But that's where it gets a little tricky when people don't, they just don't save. They just say, oh, I have enough for the closing, and that's it. It's good to keep saving. That's one of my.
Have you guys seen
biggest
those memes where it's like they're taking the video or something in the house and they're like, when you only had enough money for the down payment?
Yes, and the guy's
closing
just sitting there on
costs,
the
and they're
floor.
just
And
sitting
then
on
the
the
guy,
floor.
and there's no furniture or anything. The guy's just like,
Nothing
Don't
in
be
there.
that person.
Yes.
right.
Don't be that person. Keep saving money. It's important. A lot of people think that they could just no save the money.
Yeah.
Once you close, then do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I hope this information was helpful for you guys. I know we live by this information, and that's it's what made us to be successful and good loan officers and helping advise to our clients. But let's jump into our peaks and pits.
Peaks and
Pits.
Tongue twister.
So, Eileen.
No. Today we're gonna
She's
start
starting-
over there.
Okay, she needs time to think.
I need time to think too.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first.
Go.
Dale, chica.
So, it's the end of the month. I'm getting rid of all my closings. It's been a little bit slow in the sense of like the mortgage process than usual. I usually have like very fast closings, but since it's tax season, a lot of people are still doing their taxes and pre-qualifying with specific taxes. So those taxpayers and the CPAs, tax preparers, sorry, and the CPAs are, you know, they're busy. They're taking a little bit longer. So it's kind of a hassle to get paperwork from them. So that's kind of where I am right now. But positive is that qualifying a lot of clients these past couple days.
It's picking up a lot.
Yeah, because people are doing their taxes.
Yes.
People are, you know, getting ready for the year. I mean, we're almost. Can you believe we're almost halfway?
I know.
Stop. We're already, girl. We are
I'm
already
telling time
in
to stop.
April for real. We are almost in April. We're almost halfway. So it's crazy. So that's basically my pick and pit. Oh my God, I can't say that.
Peak
What
and
is that?
pit.
Peak
and pit.
and pits. Peak and pits. Pick and pit. Pick and pit.
All right, so I have mine ready.
Go.
Okay, so just to kind of like make this flow a little bit more into our personal lives a little bit, I actually want to talk about my personal peak and pit. My peak is right now currently, you know, as you guys know, I have 2 boys, 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So
She
I can,
brave. She brave.
Well, this is my peak. My peak right now is that as I go to their school and I ask the teachers, like, oh, how are they doing in the little daycare class and all stuff, the little one has been thriving.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's been thriving. I always thought he was going to be an issue because he's not the friendliest baby. I mean, he's cute, but like when he's mad, he's mad.
No, wait,
So,
wait. Say.
Which one?
What does he do when he cries, when he's mad?
When he gets mad, he literally will like look for a surface and just bang his head on it or bang the back of his head on it and just keep screaming. And I'm like, okay, this is great.
And what does he do instead of cry?
Oh, he screams. He doesn't cry.
He doesn't scream.
Like top of his lungs screams. Like it's like, and it's gotten to well, that's for another topic. But it's gotten to a point where I'm just kind of like, just
I'll
numb.
wait. I'll wait
just
for you to be
just-
done.
You go ahead. But yeah, that is a peak to hear that his teacher's like, no, he's the greatest. He's sweet. He's socializing. He's interacting with the other kids and doing great, hugging them. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's what he needed, right? So maybe being at home with my in-law or my mom I mean, it was great to have grandmas to help you, but it just wasn't something for him, right? And then I guess my pit in regards, again, my personal pit would be the juggling of having 2 little kids. My husband's actually a firefighter, so there are times where he's not home for like 24 hours or 48 hours, so it's kind of hard to just be a mom and work and pick up phone calls whenever clients are calling me at 7 o'clock at night, because at the end of the day, that's what we do, right? We pick up the call if it means potential business. But it is tougher in that sense how to balance. But I mean, eventually they say that when kids get a little bit older, they get more independent. So I'm hoping that my career will start getting a little bit better when it comes to being able to be there for my clients. So
In other words, she's a warrior. That's it. Say less. Say less.
just trying here.
She's a warrior. She brave. She a brave warrior.
So that's my peak and pit. What about you, Jessica?
Mine was on the personal level as well. My peak is that the kids are home for spring break, so I get to stay home with them.
She has
Oh yeah,
3.
3.
But so it's nice.
The bravest. She's the bravest of them all.
I learned from her.
So it's nice to be home with them and like enjoy this little time with them. I'm still working. I'm working from
Yeah, of
home.
course.
That's the pit, is that I'm working with the kids at home. So they're on spring
busy.
break, so it's great, but they're also on spring break, which is tough. But nothing, we're just, I'm enjoying them because they are getting bigger.
Yeah.
They are getting to the age where friends are becoming cooler than me.
Oh my God.
And so I'm just home with them, nice, and that's it.
All right, cool.
Thank you guys for listening in. I hope this episode was very informative for you guys, and stay tuned. We're thinking about doing something new.
Yes.
We're not gonna disclose yet, but
we might just give you a little teaser like throughout the week.
Yeah.
Maybe let you know what's gonna be happening for the next episode.
thank
Okay.
you guys, and hope you enjoy this. Please like, share,
that
support,
button.
subscribe, and we love you.